together and presenting a high school musical under the best of circumstances is a pretty difficult task. But when you're faced with restrictions and limitations, what do you do if you still want to put on a show? You get creative. Hi, welcome to Around the Town with Marilyn Forbes. For today's show, we're going to be visiting with the folks over at Southmoreland who have found a pretty clever way to still put on a presentation featuring the children. Now, it's not going to be your typical traditional staged musical, but it's still a great way to highlight their talent and their enthusiasm. So folks, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, I talked to Jamie already about this. We're going to start you folks way at the very beginning. Now, the High School Musical program itself was revitalized here in 2018.
Yes.
Tell me about that. I know that it had been gone for years, and I guess there was a group that wanted to bring it back, or you?
Well, it was actually about a 40-year hiatus.
Oh,
and there were a couple done in the meantime with working with the community. But for the actual high school productions, it was about a 40-year hiatus. And our superintendent at the time, Dr. Jack Molnar, really was instrumental in helping us get this underway. It was a big financial investment and some major changes that we had to adapt to the stage, and the staff was ready to take it on. There was absolutely a student interest, so we started.
Awesome.
Our first one was Cinderella, and we went to Little Mermaid and then Seussical.
Okay. Now, Seussical, you were able to stage that last year, even though the pandemic did hit in March.
Right
I think
after.
you guys got right under the wire.
Yeah, it was like a week later the pandemic hit. So we got it just under the wire.
Yeah, and so all the kids' hard work and everything still got to be staged, which is great. I know, unfortunately, there were a lot of kids last year who weren't able to continue with what they had started. Okay, so now things have changed a little bit since last year, and I think it's pretty awesome that you folks still really have the drive to be able to, as I said at the beginning, come up with a way to showcase these kids, their talents and their enthusiasm. How did you come up with this concept? Is this something that you saw, or explain to us a little bit about the little bit of a difference that we're going to see this year?
Well, I will say that the students, we wanted to give them the opportunity. That was the driving force behind it. And with everything that had been lost over the last year, we wanted a very deserving and hardworking group to have the opportunity to stage it. And then that's when the creativity started. This is the man with all of the creativity. My job is just to try to make sure he gets whatever he needs to make it happen. So back and forth, a lot of discussion. We weren't sure it was going to be able to happen. Obviously, things have changed greatly, and we are trying to accommodate all guidelines and even go above and beyond to keep the students safe. So Sean was very, very proactive in coming up with different options, different ideas that we could pursue to still make something happen. So, and it modified over time.
Yeah, we went through a couple of different iterations of things, a couple of different shows as things changed, as the time went on. Certain things became viable, certain things didn't, and then we settled on this.
One thing I want to point out, though, excuse me, is under regular circumstances, it's very easy to take up to a year to put on a high school musical. I know a lot of directors, right when they're done, or even before they're done with the show they're staging, they already know what they're doing the following year. They already have plans laid. You folks just really found out you were able to do this, a couple months ago?
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's in itself is amazing, because you figure you have your auditions, you have your casting process. But Les Mis, how did you come up with that? That's a pretty big jump from Disney.
Well, to be perfectly honest, we had an option that we were pretty much settled on, and then a couple of circumstances happened, and we decided that wasn't going to be viable for how we were going to be able to do it. And so we literally went back to the drawing board and went through a whole bunch of shows, and we landed on Les Mis and said, well, what about Les Mis? I mean, if we can't, fully stage something, we might as well do something that is, got great music and tells the story through the music mostly. So it just kind of fell into our laps, and it's turned out pretty great so far.
And you know what? That's a good idea. I never even thought about that. This is a show that doesn't have a lot of dialect in it to begin with. The songs tell the story. So if you can't really have a stage show just doing songs, that's a very good idea. Now, we keep talking about this different concept that they're doing, but we haven't explained that yet. Do you want to explain a little bit about what exactly the folks are going to be seeing?
Yeah, I can
Go
do
ahead.
it. So there have been several iterations of a concert version over the years to celebrate different anniversaries for the show. The two biggest being a 10th anniversary and a 25th anniversary. And so those were recorded with the leads at different microphones and a giant chorus and orchestra backing them up. Now, we don't have the ability to have the orchestra, but we can, and it was perfect for us because we were able to separate the students, kind of keep everyone facing forward instead of, your normal blocking where you're crossing and looking right at each other and things like that. That way, we could kind of cut down on possible transmission, but still provide a good product. I remember watching the 25th, and it was incredibly entertaining, and so we decided to kind of go that route.
Okay, so 25th, you mean the 25th anniversary version of the show? Okay.
Yes.
Now, the high school show, the high school edition, does it still have most of the songs that people might be familiar with?
Just a couple of tweaks here and there. For the most part, it's the entire show pretty much intact. I'd say maybe, 5 or 10 minutes cut out of it.
They end up just bringing a couple pieces together.
Okay.
So they've shortened a few songs and put them together, but really the entire show is pretty much there.
Now, as far as I hate to say traditional show versus this, I know there's still challenges in any type of production that you do, but what are the differences? Obviously, it's for the obvious reasons as far as having too many children on stage at the same time, but what are the other obstacles that you folks have had to get over?
There's tons of challenges to doing a musical in a pandemic. It's the first and the biggest obstacle for me as a director is I can only see half of an actor's face. And when we don't have choreography, when we have very minimal blocking, when your face is half covered, it's very hard to see, if the actor is, doing all the things that you want to see an actor do to correctly emote or, the right embouchure for your singing. And these are students who have a lot of experience, but some of them are coming with different levels of experience. So you're teaching a lot, and it's hard to do some of that whenever, you can't see half of their face. You have to do most of it off of just kind of hearing what it's sounding like and kind of guessing to see what the problem is. So.
Now, even though this is a completely different format, did you still have a lot of enthusiasm whenever you announced that you were going to indeed be doing a show this year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's an iconic show. It's something that is done all over the world. In the 10th anniversary, they had different Valjeans from all over the world sing a song, and there were probably 20 to 30 different people doing that. And so it's something that everyone knows. It's one of those bucket list shows for a lot of people. Like I said, it's iconic.
And so now the kids, they started up just a couple months ago. You've been rehearsing as much as you can with all the restrictions and everything. How they doing? How's it coming?
Well, you can't see from the camera, but they're out in the audience. I'm not going to praise them all that much because I don't want them to get ahead of themselves. But I think they, with all of the obstacles that have been put in front of them, they've done a pretty decent job at preparing themselves. We have a little bit of ways to go, but I think it's going to turn out to be a great show.
Awesome. Now, I did want to point out that even though it's not, as I hate to keep using the word traditional, not a traditional show, there is still going to be costumes. They're doing as much as they can. The music is the Broadway.
Yeah, we bought the rehearsal soundtrack and the professionally recorded soundtrack. So
that's what the kids, and you'll be directing the soundtrack and the kids.
Yes.
And as I said, there's still going to be costumes. There's going to be a little bit of set pieces. They're going to be doing as much as they can to bring as much of a quality production out to everybody. Now, the big thing is explain to us how the folks out here are going to get to be able to see the show.
Sure. Well, we're recording in a couple weeks, and from there we're having a professionally edited and rendered and finalized product that'll go onto, you'll see it through our website. So southmorelandmusical.net. It'll be housed through a fantastic company. They work with Broadway all the time. And it's called Show Ticks for You. But the easiest way will be to get on our website, Southmoreland Musical. And next week we'll be opening this up. It's a $15 ticket. And for people who are viewing it at home, That ticket is good for one streaming, and as many people as that family feels safe can sit in and watch it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're hoping that what is neat for the students, they never see the final product unless they buy a DVD and they see it months later. So they'll get to experience it the first time sitting next to their grandparents or their brother or sister or their friends. And we're trying to do some extra things for them too. We're offering, just some nice little viewing baskets and different to make it a special experience, because that is very different for them. But for somebody who's buying a ticket, they'll log in. You'll use a credit card to pay for it. We are assuming the fees for the ticket, so it is a $15 ticket. And then from there, you'll get an email that has an access code. And they're trying to make it as easy as possible. Obviously, not every TV has internet access, but the access code can be played on any device that you can get email on. So the easiest, obviously, is on a computer or a phone. But for those that want to watch it on a larger screen, a couple options that you have, and I am happy to help anybody through this process. Obviously, I'm not a tech guru, but if people at home are having difficulty, there'll be a walkthrough video and my email address to try to help people if they're having trouble to find out options. But streaming, you can do it through Bluetooth, whether that is directly from a computer to a TV that has that enabled already, a Roku stick or a Fire Stick. Or you can hardwire it. You can use obviously the easiest is if your computer can go to your TV with an HDMI, because that takes care of your sound. But if your TV doesn't have that, it probably has a VGA cable port, and a VGA and audio will let you log into that pretty easily. For accessing it, when the email comes, you can click right on the link and it just appears. It's a really neat platform. It's set up really nice. We actually are going to use some video that we've been recording at rehearsals and some photos. There's a program that's interactive and built in on there. So it's a really nice platform. We're going to try to put some extra stuff at the end of our recording and you wouldn't get that in a traditional show.
Sure.
So we're trying to make it as creative and just really showcasing the talent and the love that we have for these students, and to let their parents see that at home.
Okay, so now this is going to start the first week of May, as far as them being able to log in, or no?
You can buy the ticket starting next week, but it won't be available until the 4 streaming dates. It's a scheduled content show, which means that you'll log in at that time on whichever date you pick. The 4 streaming dates are Friday, May 21st, Saturday, the 22nd, the following week, Friday, the 29th. Those are all at 7 p.m. And then that Sunday, we decided to do an earlier show in case families wanted to have dinner and watch the musical together. And that's at 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay, wonderful. And then so your $15 ticket gets you one? One, okay.
Yep. And then after the fact, we are gonna have DVDs and Blu-rays for sale in case people would like to save it. Because when you do stream, they have figured out it's amazing the technology that people can find, but you're not able to record it.
Okay. Oh.
So, but we'll have the Blu-ray and the DVD with all of the extras that we share online. So it's a nice keepsake for families, or if people can't log in, they can still see it if they'd like to.
Oh, awesome. And I didn't ask, cast and crew, about how many do you have?
We have 45 total with crew and everybody.
And that's freshmen through up?
Yep, freshmen through seniors.
Okay,
Yep.
Awesome. So before I am going to be talking with one of the cast members, I'm sure that there's probably a lot of people that you guys would like to thank, starting with the district for allowing you folks to go on with this. And is there anybody else that you would like to shout out a thanks to?
Sure. Obviously, our district administration and school board, our principal has been fantastic. And one of the biggest challenges we've had is everything is day by day. And he's been great about communicating and giving us the opportunity to do this. He really had much of the final say to let this happen. So a very big shout out to Dan Krofchek. Our boosters have been fantastic. I'll say a huge thank you to the kids for a moment, but our boosters and the executive board there in the community, we have a great community. Wishes, we had a fundraiser at Wishes Bar and Grill last night, and that was our big fundraiser, and our community really supported us. So it was a great turnout. We had great profit. So we're thankful for that. I know Ms. Forbes has been working with a lot of local school districts. We're thankful for Gateway, AAFC, the Geyer, Laurel Highlands, and did I forget anybody else on that list?
Gateway. Did we?
Gateway. Yep.
Yeah, then for those sort of things, no, I think that's
Just a blanket
Yeah.
thank you to anybody
Well, and,
that's helped you.
Yeah, and she's really been. We have two other outstanding cast members. So Kaylee Hansberry is our choreographer, and she's helping doing some staging and whatever else Sean needs. And Chelsea Forbes is our artistic director and costumer. So I'm very thankful for all of them, and especially to Sean and the great group of students that we have. I know that Sean shares the same sentiments. We have been blown away with their attitude and effort and rolling with the changes. So I'm thankful, and I know I'm excited for the last couple weeks.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, before we switch off here, you want to give us those dates again as far as the streaming?
Sure. Friday, May 21st, that's at 7 p.m. Saturday, the 22nd of May at 7 p.m. The next weekend, we jump down to Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday is the 29th at 7 and Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Perfect.
And we encourage repeat viewings.
Oh, there you go. And one last time, the website that the folks out there can check out to get all this information and their tickets.
Sure. Southmorelandmusical.net.
Perfect. Okay, folks, so don't go anywhere. I'm going to be talking with Chris, who is actually playing Jean Valjean.
Jean Valjean.
And you're also going to be treated to just a little bit of a taste of some of the numbers that the kids are going to be performing. I do want to point out that they are, while they're masked up today and they're just in there with the really cool T-shirts for the performance that you folks will be seeing when you stream, they will not have masks on. And as I said, they will have costumes.
Yep.
So, all right, stay tuned. We're going to be talking with Chris. Okay, folks, we have the pleasure now of meeting one of the many cast members, and this is a young man who is playing Jean Valjean, which is a name I absolutely love to say, Jean Valjean. Chris, hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
Now,
me.
what I think is pretty cool is not only are you a freshman, this is the first show that, obviously, that you even auditioned for here, correct?
Yeah.
Were you familiar with it, or tell me what your thoughts were whenever you heard they were doing Les Mis, this iconic show?
Well, I was excited, as anyone would be. I mean, it's Les Mis. I was fairly excited, as I said. I actually wasn't that familiar with the show. The only song I knew was I Dreamed a Dream.
Oh, there you go.
But
So
I was excited.
when you auditioned, were you auditioning for Jean Valjean? I get to say it again. Or did you just want to be a part of the show?
I just wanted to be a part of it because this is like my first lead role that I've ever gotten. And I've been used to getting ensemble, but it's a fair surprise that I got this role in this show.
So I was just going to ask you, so that was your reaction? You were
Yeah.
completely surprised?
Yeah.
Now, I guess it's a little bit of a difficult character. What have you done to prepare?
Well, I've started taking voice lessons again with Gail Cuneo, who I've done shows with before with Seagley. I just been like listening to the soundtrack
Okay.
a lot in my free time.
Getting just probably all the time listening, getting ready.
Yeah.
Now, although there again too, we keep saying this is an iconic show, but it is. What type of an audience do you think is going to enjoy watching you guys perform this show?
I don't know specifically, but I think
I mean, it's for all ages, but
it
yeah.
is. I don't know. This show is pretty iconic, as you said, but this show is pretty nice. I mean, I would expect like a lot of people to watch it.
Okay, awesome. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Chris is now going to be joined up here on stage with, I guess, everybody. And Sean and Jamie have a couple numbers put together. As I said, just a little taste of what you're going to get to see to give you an idea of what you folks will be seeing at the end of May. So stay tuned.
He's like the sun whom I travel. If God had granted me a son, the summer's joy, one by one, how soon they fly on and on, and I am old and will be gone. Bring him He is young. He is only a boy. You can take, you can get. Let him
I love him. Every day I'm learning. All my life I've only been pretending. Without me, his world will go on turning. The world is full of happiness that I have never known.
Good.
God knows how I've lasted living with this master of a house.
Master of the house,
Master in a house.
comforter, philosopher,
Don't make me laugh.
servant to the poor, father to the great.
Hypocrite and toady and inebriate.
Everybody bless the landlord. Everybody bless his spouse. Everybody raise a glass.
Raise it for the lower class.
Everybody raise a glass for the master of the house. They will walk behind the plowshare. They will put away the sword. The chain will be broken and all men will have their reward. Will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Somewhere beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see? Do you hear the people sing? Say, do you hear the distant drums? It is the future that they bring when tomorrow comes.
Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show and your little bit of a preview as to the upcoming wonderful production that you're going to be able to get to see right there at home. Folks, before we finish up here, anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, one more time, I want to say thank you to the school district for allowing us to do the show, the parents for all their support, for getting their kids to rehearsal on time and for picking them up on time. Thank you to our production staff, Mrs. Gore, Miss Hansberry, Miss Forbes, and especially thank you to Armstrong for coming in recording this. We really appreciate you guys being here.
Well, our pleasure. And again, it is May.
Yes, it's May 21st, 22nd, 29th, and 30th, and you can get tickets at southmorelandmusical.net.
Okay, there you go. All right, folks, again, I really hope you enjoyed the show. I know I did, and I'm super excited to see the whole production that these kids have to offer. So, folks, remember, keep smiling, keep dreaming, and start streaming.